Welcome back, 9:22 here on your Friday morning, and we are back now with Democrat for Governor Drew Edmondson. Thanks for sticking around. I'm going to take some questions from Facebook.
Looking forward to it.
A lot of people want to know some specifics. Our first question talks about plans for education reform and our budget crisis. You talked a little bit about that, but what do you say about education? That's one of those that we are on the bottom of a list that you want to be on the top of. How do we get it right?
We need to do a lot in education. The focus has been on teacher salaries, and that's important. The raise was nice. It's a good start. It's not an end. But we need to be looking at things like class size and the fact that teachers used to have teaching assistants and now they're almost gone. Counselors in our schools, things of that nature. And then on the fiscal side, we need to talk about streamlining services, making sure that we have availed ourselves of all of the techniques like closed circuit TV courses, things of that nature, where a school can offer a wider curriculum without having to increase the number of teachers on faculty. Those things can be done. They will save money and they will enhance the education opportunity for the kids. And in the bottom line, that's what it's all about. You know, it's not about teachers, it's not about principals, it's about what kind of product we're producing for our children, and whether or not they, at the end of their educational process, will be able to meet the challenges of the world.
Right. And Sean asks, what is your stance on marijuana, healthcare, education funding? Let's start with marijuana. Are you a supporter of medicinal marijuana? It's now going to be legal here in our state. What about recreational marijuana?
I announced early on my support for 788, the medicinal medical marijuana issue. It has passed now, and the Department of Health is working very hard on the regulations. They got a short time fuse on that, and so they're working on it very hard. I've also announced publicly that I think recreational, it's premature. We have an opportunity to watch the track record of Colorado, Oregon, and Washington to see whether the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. We should take advantage of that opportunity and not jump into something without doing that study.
What about a special session? There has been a call that there's no way that the health department, this is the critics say, there's no way the health department can get it done in 60 days, and really they don't have the law on their side. A special session should be called. What's your opinion about a special session?
Well, I think there are advantages to a special session, things like licensing, geographical restrictions on cultivation, things of that nature. I can't make a judgment on the special session without seeing how thorough the health department regulations are. If the health department regulations answer those questions, then a special session may not be necessary. If the health department lacks the jurisdiction to answer some of those questions, then the governor may need to rethink her decision on special session.
Richard asks, do you plan to expand Sooner Care as part of the ACA/Obamacare?
I plan on opting into the Medicaid expansion, and I think the failure to do that has been devastating to nearly 200,000 Oklahomans who earn just above the poverty level. It's also been devastating to hospitals, particularly in rural areas of Oklahoma, and nursing homes. We've had to lower our reimbursement rates for medical services and for nursing home care as a result of not opting in, and that's been damaging to Oklahoma's health. And so yes, I would opt into the Medicaid expansion. The amount of dollars that would come in on that would more than offset the 10% match that we would have to come up with. So I think it makes good fiscal sense and good health.
Any prediction on who you will face in the general election? Of course, the Republicans will have their special runoff election in August. Who do you think you're going to see in November?
Well, the Libertarians have their runoff election.
That's true. You're right.
Also.
Let me not forget them.
So Republicans are going to have to figure that out. We've game planned both of them. There's a route to victory, no matter which one is nominated. Little nuances on where we will concentrate our efforts. So I'll let the other party pick their nominee and send them my way.
You'll be ready in November.
We'll be ready.
And do want to mention that we're going to be interviewing all of the candidates. You are the first gubernatorial candidate we've had on now after the primary election, and we'll be having all the candidates on here for sure.
Good.
We appreciate it. Drew Edmondson, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And we'll
Thank
probably
you.
see you before that November election. We'll certainly see you election evening.
I look forward to it.
All right, thank you so much. Y'all stay with us. We'll be right back after this quick break.